It is 39.6, episode number 115. Our tax return was accepted. This is a 39.6 YouTube and Facebook Live finance show. The show that teaches high earners like yourselves how to make your money work for you so you don't have to work for your money. We talk general investing, taxes, real estate, syndications, Airbnb, paying for college, paying for childcare, and even the car you drive. Welcome, guests. Today, we're just going to talk about our tax filing getting accepted. If you can see me, you can hear me. Please let me know in the chat. Let me know where you are calling in from or texting in from. Glad to see everybody here. It is 2 days before Halloween. Tomorrow is the last work day before Halloween. So I think for a lot of people, tomorrow might be kind of like Halloween. If your kids are going to school and dressing up. Today we had a virtual Halloween happy hour. So that was fun. That's why I'm not wearing my glasses. I put my contacts in for like the first time in forever because I used my glasses for another layer of COVID protection. Anyway, so I was just flipping through. Well, I had gone into my Chase app and I was trying to log into one of my business accounts, but it accidentally pre-filled to our personal account. And I was shocked because there was way more money in there than I had remembered there being. And I didn't know why. I was like, when did I transfer money into our checking account? Because we don't take direct deposit into our checking account. I actually don't even have alerts set up into our checking account to text me when we get a deposit like I do in other accounts, because we don't get direct deposit to this account. So it never happens. The only exception is basically our tax return, because I'm always a little bit weary that if we send it to our Vanguard brokerage, it might not make it there because it's a brokerage account, not a regular checking account, even though we do receive our direct deposits there. But it's a little bit confusing the way it works when you take direct deposit to your brokerage. I think you need to kind of change the numbers a little bit. Because it doesn't actually go to Vanguard. Interesting. When you send direct deposit to Vanguard, it's actually going to Chase. And then Vanguard has an account at Chase. At least that's what it showed up on as when we set up our direct deposit to our Vanguard brokerage. So anyway, we had a whole bunch more money in our checking account. And I said, IRS, direct deposit. And it's weird. I don't know if the IRS doesn't really tell you if your tax return is accepted, right? They just basically will tell you if you're audited. Now, I'm fortunate we've never been audited. However, at least since we started making good money, we have always paid a lot of tax. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't been audited. This year, as people know, if you've been following along, we just filed our return on October 15th, late at night. So that was just 2 weeks ago today. Just a couple hours before the deadline. And the reason why it was so late was we were waiting weeks to get our cost segregation analysis completed. And then I got it and I was like, nah, we can do better than this. And then I had to wait another week for it to get updated. And then we got it a handful of days before the deadline. And then I had to wait for the CPA to redo all the taxes, because you have to do this special form for changing the way your accounting is. And that whole thing was actually a huge ordeal, which I didn't even think about, know about, and it was expensive. But actually, and when I had brought it up with my tax preparer, so I have an accountant, but I don't actually get to talk much to the accountant. We talked to this other person who prepares the taxes. And I said, hey, what about doing a cost seg? She said, we can, it would definitely increase your audit risk. It's like, yeah, I know, but who cares? It's legit, right? It's not like I'm cheating. This is a totally legit thing. But yeah, it's increases your audit risk, but so what? If it's going to save us tens of thousands of dollars, at least today, and just defer a bunch of tax and probably still save us a very good amount of money in tax down the road, it's worth it. And what's the worst case scenario? They audit us and we show them like our cost seg. I mean, because that's probably the only thing they would really audit us for, maybe the Airbnb in general, but we have all of those expenses documented. So whatever. And most people, a lot of people get worried about audits. It's very rare that they like actually want to see everything. It's totally a waste of their time. They usually just, from what I've heard, just kind of check in and say, hey, can you explain this one expense you have? And you send them that documentation and they're like, okay, fine. And they just want to make sure that whatever. They don't usually go through like everything because that's super time intensive and just not worthwhile. So our Airbnb on Schedule C for the fourth year in a row, 2016, 17, 18, 19, and for the fourth year in a row having a loss on Schedule C, and this year having a ton of income on Schedule C, but still generating a loss and a substantial 5-figure loss on Schedule C. It probably could have been a lot more, but we couldn't take bonus depreciation on the asset because we bought in 2016 instead of like 2018 or whatever. So we still got the cost seg in, got to catch up all of the depreciation that we hadn't taken the few years prior. That's where the whole change in accounting method comes in. It is pretty complicated, but big loss on Schedule C. Put it on, filed it, got our return in our checking account yesterday, and then I'm going to send it back over to our brokerage account tomorrow. But it made it. So there you go. A lot of people not really believers in this. I mean, you have to work it out with your accountant, but I mean, we self-manage our Airbnb, keep the average days, median days under 7, provide some extra services to our tenants and whatnot. And I'm not an accountant, so please, this is between you and your accountant, but can be done, has been done, and I didn't even get an audit. So we are in the clear and don't have to really worry about taxes for a little bit. Although yesterday I just went through the whole episode of checking out Safe Harbor for 2020 taxes, which is a very reasonable thing to do right now, just to make sure that you are not too far behind and maybe not too far ahead. All right, that is it for our short Thursday episode on Halloween Eve, just so everybody knows that it actually went through and it's done. What are you guys going to be for Halloween? Anything exciting? Anybody actually going trick-or-treating? Tomorrow's 5-Minute Friday. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. Saturday morning, we're going to have the one, the only, the Jimmy Turner, the physician philosopher, on for an early morning Halloween episode. We'll be broadcasting at 7:30-ish a.m. Central Time on Saturday, October 31, 2020. I'll see you tomorrow before then. All right, have a great night.